Right, Jim?
Oh, yeah, we're a bunch of know-it-alls, that's for sure.
What I'm wondering is, where is this stable place where all the plastics seem to drift to somewhere in the ocean, like the Sargasso Sea?
It's called a gyre, G-Y-R-E. There's one in a gyre, there's one in the Atlantic, actually there's one in most oceans. Northern Pacific, Southern Pacific, Northern Atlantic, Southern Atlantic. The ocean currents
Yes.
spin around and then things gravitate towards the center. And that's where all the junk accumulates.
Well, I'm just wondering, when it's accumulated like that, wouldn't that be a perfect spot to gather it up? Harvest
I've
it?
had the same thought.
It's been tried repeatedly, and there's a venture going on right now that has at least some chance of success of scooping up that stuff. Now,
Let's use a better word, that's harvesting that stuff.
harvesting, more syllables.
But more appealing as an idea.
But what do you do with it once you get it?
Well, then you're gonna probably sort it and try to reprocess it, grind it up and recast it or mold it or what have you.
Problem is,
The
the longer
first-
stuff stays in the ocean, the more it breaks down and the smaller it
Yes,
gets.
some of it is
And
very
now it
minute.
starts getting into the life of the ocean, and eventually that gets into what you and I eat.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
The one article
That's
was,
nothing so
that
far-fetched.
was mentioned is that we eat a credit card's worth of plastic every
Right.
day. That's inside the food that we eat.
Exactly.
Inside, in the
I
sense
think
of
that's
that's
true.
Exaggeration, that would be a lot.
I think it's a
less.
credit card a week.
Is that happening now?
Is it a credit card a week?
I think it's a week, yeah.
Okay, gee, I feel so much better.
Yeah.
It's happening now, yes. I mean, look at it this way, 50 years ago, we didn't pay attention to the fact we dumped oil and chemicals into the rivers. We're up on our 50th anniversary of Earth Day coming up this year. And now we have more technology and more ability to find things and track them, that we're actually able to understand microplastics moving through the food chain from the oceans. I didn't think plastics broke down in the ocean, but apparently they do.
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Well, the
That's what they're
sunlight,
saying.
Yeah.
the sunlight breaks them down.
So, yeah, if we can get it out of the ocean, that would be good. But if you stop and think about it, how many countries deposit trash into the ocean?
It shouldn't be put in
Southeast
the
Asian countries use high tide as their trash removal service. And that's where 90% of the trash in the ocean comes from. In addition, you have all sorts of fishing boats and fishing nets that break up and they just drift in the ocean, and eventually they wind up, in these gyres. Contribute to this. Then eventually, way at the far side of the dock, is you and me with the plastic straw.
Right.
The 10 plastic straws we use a year, none of them wind up in the ocean. They wind up in a landfill, but they don't wind up in the ocean unless we specifically walk over to the dock and throw it in.
Right.
And we're going to be castigated for using plastic straws.
Have you ever seen that, I guess, environmental commercial where they talk about straws and, things going into the ocean? And they have this huge turtle, about twice the size of that table. And there's a little stub of something is coming out of his nostril. You saw that one?
I can picture it.
They took a pliers and they pulled out this straw.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very powerful impact.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Congratulate the maker of the ad. But when you see the trash lined up on these Southeast Asian countries, waiting for the high tide to just take it on out,
Why aren't they filming that?
you start to realize that the contribution of the people in this country is zero compared to that.
Yeah, no, I see. Now, there, you and I would differ. Those Southeast Asian countries simply, in my opinion, do not have the industrial development and strength of whatever we have. And one of their biggest industries is taking trash from places like America and getting whatever good they can out of it. And that's what they put back in the ocean, is what they can't.
I think you're not correct. I think it's people's ordinary, we'll call it household trash, that they don't have the infrastructure to send a trash truck around, or a flatbed truck, or a horse and cart, and cart it away somewhere and treat it some way. But they just bring it down to the shoreline, the beach, and they wait for the high tide to carry it out. Now, you talk about a ship or a printed circuit board and all these people killing themselves, melting this stuff down and leaving it on the beach, and eventually some of that goes out into the sea. I understand that, but I think that's small relative to what all the people do in their everyday lives. They don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the municipal trash and the waste haulers and landfills and all that.
I would agree with that.